What's up everyone? In this episode of Motive Garage presented by Sparesbox, we start trying to make more power with the FA24 engine in our BRZ, starting with exhaust and headers. Let's go. Now, if I had it my way, I would have brought our BRZ back to the shop the day we bought it and turbocharged it straight away. However, the ECU has not been cracked yet and the Motec package is still being developed. This means that turbocharging and tuning of the engine is going to have to wait, which means we can only do bolt-ons for now, which is basically intake and exhaust. And the big question is, how well will they work on the new FA24 engine? We're not just going to throw them on and say that they sound or feel great. We're going to do back-to-back scientific testing on the parts that we try out on our BRZ. So the first thing we're doing is full exhaust system and headers. So we went straight to the most recommended and experienced people in the BRZ and 86 scene in Australia, and that is PVS Performance Tuning with parts from Sydney Motorsport Engineering SME. First up, let's go get a baseline power figure. Our first test was the newly developed SME stainless catback exhaust system. It has a long resonator with 2 mufflers and twin tips, keeping it quiet for a mature and conservative owner. Call it the gentleman's catback exhaust system. It is designed to give the car some noise when accelerating, but not noticeable during regular driving with the windows up, which is perfect for what we wanted. SME don't advertise any power gains, but we thought we would check it on the dyno anyway. As you can see, essentially no difference in power from the catback exhaust system. SME and PVS told us that the power gains are mostly in the headers, the overpipe and the mid-pipe with a new catalytic converter. SME have developed a new 4x2x1 equal length header designed to give the best overall performance across the entire rev range. SME have experience developing headers for 86 series race cars and many street cars, so they have put this knowledge into these new prototype headers for us to test. The headers join up to the SME overpipe and the stainless mid-pipe, which has a high-flow 400 cell catalytic converter, helping keep the exhaust system legal in most places. Another priority for us with this build. Mike from SME and Tyler from PVS got into installing the headers and exhaust system for us. With everything installed, it was straight back on the dyno the same afternoon. We ensured the oil temperature and warm-up time was the same for each run, so we had consistency in the results. The result was an increase in peak power of 4.5 kilowatts or 6 horsepower, but the impressive part is the consistent increase of over 10 kilowatts or nearly 14 horsepower between 4,500 and 6,000 RPM, with gains everywhere above 4,200 RPM. That's almost a 10% gain in the most important part of the rev range, where the car spends most of its time on track, which we consider a great result without a tune.
Pretty excited, more so that I knew the chassis, as much as they bang on about it being so much better and 50% stiffer and all the rest of it, I didn't think the chassis was going to be that much different, which it's not. It's more just the extra power that standard. I think they're going to be a car that people don't always have to go throwing turbos on them to get that nicer drive on the road, or that little bit more grunt, or that little bit quicker on the racetrack. So I think they're, as a standard car, they're just that little bit better. They're kind of where they almost should have been with the first one, really. Stock for stock, average 2 litre makes about 110. Bolting on a set of headers, pick up anywhere from 5 to 7, maybe, not quite 10 kilowatts, so let's say 117. Tune them up to, on average, high 120s to sort of low, mid 130s, depending on how many Ks it's got. Where this thing out of the box has basically hit 150 to 150. We've had a few on here, anywhere from, say, 150 to roughly 154-ish. Yeah, so massive. It's like 40 kilowatts straight out of the box, standard. These are a lot more linear, just in all that the cam timing kind of makes sense. Ignition timing's pretty steady, you don't get any peaks and troughs. The fuel numbers a little bit leaner, the other ones are a lot richer. So yeah, so everything's just that little bit nicer with these ones. So I think moving forward tuning wise, there's always a gain to be had, but how much, we're not sure yet until we have a crack. This has got the 4 to 2 to 1 setup, which we haven't previously done too much testing. Mike he dabbled with it on the 2 litre, but it didn't really work too much. But the 4 to 1 was our main thing we tested on the new one. Because we figured it's got more torque, we were just trying to get more top end. But having said that, we found that these ones, the 4 to 2 to 1, have actually made basically everywhere. So it's gone mid-range, top end, the whole lot is actually better. So compared to the testing we did on our car, which is awesome. So I can't wait to get a set on. You will notice it, but how much in a lap time? Look, it could be a few tenths, that sort of thing. Something's better than nothing, but I think your biggest gain will be you driving it better, to be honest. But you will notice it. And compared to standard, yeah, look, Eastern Creek, definitely, because of the longer straights and all that sort of stuff. Luddenham, yeah, it's a pretty tight circuit. You may leap out of turn 2 and turn 3 a little bit better than some of the hairpins, but anyway, time will tell. It's not the pop and crackle 18-year-old P-plater tune or sound. Look, Mike can do all that stuff, but he's catered it for, again, they're not an entry-level car, they're a $40,000, $50,000 car, so you don't want something that's going to wake up all the neighbours and you get defect notices in your letterbox. So I think it's going to appeal to a broader range of people, to be honest. And let's face it, we know that the catbacks aren't making a huge difference, but yes, it gives you noise, but power-wise, there's not a massive difference. So yeah, I think it's just a good package for everyone, and you can always make it louder if you want. But out of the box, it's fantastic. It's legal. It's got a legal cat in it, which is awesome. So yeah, I think it's really good. It's a good move.
All right, let's see how the car drives with the SME headers and exhaust system on the car. The first thing I noticed is that when you're driving normally, you don't have to yell, it's not too loud. It's exactly what I wanted from an aftermarket exhaust in this car. I have a thing about noise to performance ratio. If you have 1,000 horsepower GTR, it's allowed to be loud. If you have 200 horsepower, you're not allowed to be loud. It's just as simple as that. But I also don't want to get pulled over. I don't want to be, I guess, targeted like a P-plate 86 BRZ driver. So by it being nice and quiet like this, that's perfect for what I'm after. In fact, with the radio on, you don't even know you have an aftermarket exhaust. You have to basically start getting up it before you kind of go, oh yeah, it's got an aftermarket exhaust on it. But honestly, with the windows up, the stereo on, and obviously the factory electronic sound enhancer on, it's not a whole lot of difference from factory. You do notice that it is louder outside the car when you listen to it, and obviously cold start is louder and stuff like that, but nothing is overbearing, nothing's annoying, and it's perfectly livable. And that's the main thing that I wanted. Now, can you notice the increase in performance when driving it? I always say that you need 10% to kind of really feel the difference. and this is more like 7 or 8%. So it'll be one of those things where, yeah, maybe you'll notice it a little bit, maybe not. Let's find out, shall we? All right, what's it like? I reckon there's a bit more go there. It's not an incredibly drastic, massive difference, obviously, but seat of the pants, yeah, there's a little bit extra grunt. And the good thing is that extra grunt is where we need it. We're not getting it sort of down low. The dyno said from sort of 4,200, so yeah, I agree. So all in all, road impression is we have some exhaust sound that isn't obnoxious or over the top. You don't need to yell over the top of it. You can enjoy the car as a daily driver. You shouldn't get pulled over and picked on for it. And we've got some extra performance. Win-win, right? Good work from the guys from SME. Well, next for our BRZ, we'll be testing some intakes before we head back to Luddenham Raceway and see if a little bit more power can make for a quicker lap time. We're also going to be wrapping our BRZ as well, so expect a whole new colour very soon. Don't forget, you can win our Subaru BRZ at the end of the project thanks to LMCT+. All you need to do is click the link in the description, become a member, go into the draw to win anything that LMCT+ give away, from houses to boats to motorbikes to all sorts of cars, or you can buy individual tickets for the BRZ when it goes up for raffle. Don't forget to subscribe as well, as there is plenty of testing and development left to come on our Subaru BRZ.